Hi guys, it's Duchess again, and I'm obviously here with another late night video. This time it's a review of Train to Busan. I gotta say I'm not real sure about this one. It was very well done. I want to say that right from the beginning. Everything that you've heard about it being a fantastic movie and skillfully done and all of that, it's all true. It's all absolutely true. Where I get a little fuzzy is a personal classification issue, I think. And I've noticed this a lot recently, that everything that I am finding that's labeled a horror movie, or this is the best horror movie ever, or whatever, no, I don't get it. I really don't. And I feel bad saying that because it was a fantastic film. But it didn't scare me. Like, not even a little. It was very emotional. I will freely admit I cried more than once. The gore factor is all over the place. It's fantastic in that aspect. I mean, it's a zombie movie. I think everybody knows that by now, so I don't think I'm spoiling it for anyone. But as far as it being outright scary, it wasn't to me. It just wasn't. I don't know if after, a lifetime of watching scary movies, there's just not enough out there that's going to scare me anymore. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe it's a personal issue with me. But it did not scare me. Was it horrible? Yes. Was it gory? Yes. Did it really, really tear at you? Absolutely. But to me, that's not a horror movie. To me, if it doesn't scare me to death and make me not want to, not want to open the windows or look out the door, it's not a horror movie. And I mean, like I said, maybe that's a personal classification issue on my part. But, I don't know. I'm not sure what I think about that. And I've noticed this with a lot of horror movies over the years. They just don't scare me. And, maybe it is partially because I started watching horror movies when I was really, really young. I mean, I can remember being 4 or 5, somewhere in that range, and sitting on my mom's lap and watching Poltergeist. I grew up watching that stuff with my mom. I started reading Stephen King by the time I was, 8 or 10. Maybe that's why this stuff doesn't really scare me. Maybe that's why I don't find it frightening, is because I expect to still get that thrill, that, just cold chill to your bones that I got back then. That said, there are still movies that give me that. They are few and far between, but they are out there. There are movies I will not watch alone. I don't care if it's broad daylight and all of that. I won't watch them if I don't have somebody with me, because they do scare me. So I don't think that it's that I'm completely unscarable. I just think that the classification of what I grew up with as horror movies has changed. Poltergeist was a massive horror movie. It didn't have all the gore and stuff. I mean, yeah, of course, the Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers movies, those all had the gore. But stuff like, Poltergeist and that sort of thing didn't. I mean, even The Shining, which, the first time I saw it scared the absolute bejesus out of me. It didn't have all that much gore. It wasn't a slasher, really. At least not to me it wasn't. Not when you compare it to things like, Friday the 13th. So, I don't know. I don't know if the classification has changed over the years or what. I have noticed that a lot of the things that get listed as thrillers tend to scare me more than the ones that actually get labeled as horror. That said, back to actually reviewing the movie. It is in Korean, if you have not seen it yet. So if you're going to see it, I highly recommend making sure you have a copy that has English subtitles, if you don't speak Korean, which I don't. At the beginning of the movie, the copy that I have, the subtitles were a little bit sketchy, but they got better over the course of the movie, by far. By the end of the movie, I forgot I was reading subtitles. So, that works out alright. I love foreign films, especially foreign horror films. Pretty much anything that comes out of Japan and out of Korea is freaking gold. So, I knew it would be good based on that, and it was. It was brilliant. Absolutely amazing movie. But did it scare me? No. Like I said, I cried in more than one spot. I'm not going to go into a lot of details because I don't want to ruin this for anyone. But no, I wouldn't call it scary. Very action-packed. Very gut-wrenching. I don't know. You know, that's one of those things where I want to hear from you guys. Am I just classifying horror wrong? You know, I am a product of the 70s. Just share my age a tiny bit here. Which means I grew up with the horror films of the 80s and the 90s. Some of the 70s, but not a lot, let's be honest. So maybe that's the difference. Maybe the horror genre has just changed that much. I mean, I spent a good portion of my years married to guys that didn't like horror movies, so I didn't really get an opportunity to watch them. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe in that span where I wasn't watching them, the classification of what they are changed. And that's where I'd really like to hear from you guys. Am I just setting my expectations in entirely the wrong direction? And if so, let me know, because I don't want to be bagging on all these movies going, didn't really scare me. If it's not meant to. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if somebody could, if some of you guys could let me know, is it a problem with the movie or is it a problem with me? Is it a problem with my classification? If it scared the bejesus out of you, tell me. Because then I know, okay, it's probably the fact that I'm just jaded at this point. Other than that, if I take out the scary aspect of the movie and the fact that that's what I was expecting, I would honestly rate this movie a 10 out of 10. Everything about it, aside from that, was flawless. I have not seen a movie this well put together in a very, very long time. And I'm picky about movies. I mean, the littlest thing out of line is just enough to set me reeling. And I can pretty much guess that I know what that is. Oops, messed with the light. Usually when I hear that ding, it's, Count Jacula, who is one of my YouTube idols, on Twitter. So I doubt he'll ever see this. If he does, hi Count Jacula, you are so awesome. Like I said, sorry about the dinging. I probably should have shut the volume off on the phone since I'm using it as a light again. And like I said, the videos, the movie, wow. It was amazing. It really, really was. It just wasn't my idea of horror. So, again, like I said, is it me? Or has the classification changed? Or what? I'd really like your take on these things. And Jesus, it looks like I've been packing my suitcases under my eyes. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have figured out by now, I don't script these videos. I don't plan ahead. I I watch the movies, I turn on the camera. You guys literally get me within seconds of the videos finishing. So if I seem a little scattered, that's usually why. I'm usually still kind of in the processing stage. It's definitely going to stick with me. It's one of those movies where, as good as it was, I'm going to have a hard time watching it again, because there is some subject matter in it that I find particularly troubling. And with that, it's hard, you know? But it was also necessary for the movie, I think. And I honestly think if you sit down and you watch this movie, you'll agree. Like I said, this is one of those where I'm really asking you guys, please, I want to know what you thought. Please tell me, has the classification changed? Am I just crazy? You know, am I expecting too much? These are the things I really want to know from you guys. In addition to that, if there's any movies you want me to watch and, you know, give you my take on, let me know, because I am very much open to doing that. I watch all of these movies blind. I don't look up what they're about or reviews or anything like that if I can help it. This one, of course, you know, I saw all the hype. Best movie in 20 years or whatever it was. So maybe that was part of what colored it, is that I had that expectation from seeing that anywhere. And I knew from the picture of the movie that it was probably going to be a zombie film. But that's all I knew. So I do try to go into these as blind as possible, because I feel like you're going to get a more honest take from me that way. So, yeah, like I said, if there's anything you want me to review, let me know. If you think I'm being too hard on the movies, or that I'm not keeping up with the times and the way the classifications have changed, things like that, let me know. I want to hear from you guys, because I want to do the kinds of videos that you guys want to watch. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share the videos with your friends, and by all means, please tell me if there's other videos you'd like to see, other movies you'd like me to watch and review. This is the Duchess. Bye, guys.